Whoa, it's the Illusion reporting from somewhere on Spaceship Earth. Saturday, Memorial Day weekend. Summer is upon us. It's madness out here and it's a fully overcast day. Anyway, that's not what I'm here to talk about. So, how radical are you, man? How radical are you? You know, I was thinking today just about what is like the cutting edge, against the grain, not buying into the status quo, radical revolutionary act, right? And you know, I'm pretty clear punctuality is a good place to start, showing up on time, right? But we talked about that a bunch. And then I was thinking about, you know, it's summertime, so it's we're gonna do like homeschooling for the mini-gram, because she's just not getting the education that she needs at the public school. So this summer we talked to her a bunch about, you know, we're gonna do some homeschooling at home. And so I was like thinking about the curriculum for the mini-gram. You know, one of the things we're gonna do is have her grow her own like vegetables this summer. Get her own planter box and you know, chart all that and just be 100% engaged from seed to table her little crop. And I was thinking about, like, that's pretty radical, man. Teaching your 11-year-old how to grow her own food, man. And then I was really thinking about how much involved I am on the daily level with our little garden behind the house. It's not big. I mean, it's probably, you know, 30 square feet all said and done. But we're growing our own vegetables, you know, as much as you can. We're growing our own herbs and stuff like that. And I was thinking about how just that essence in itself, growing new living forms onto Spaceship Earth that are doing the things that living plants do, you know, making the world a better place, feeding you, providing oxygen, eating up waste, and just basically increasing the ecosystem. A little human ecosystem, right? Because isn't that the most revolutionary thing you can do, is to grow and sustain your own vegetables? And it's amazing how much little room you need to do. I got this book for the hologram for Christmas. It's basically how to maximize space to grow as much food as you can. And the more and more I'm out in the garden, the more and more I realize that is where the revolution lies, is these tasks that are totally like positive and creation based. Like the revolution can't be, I'm convinced the revolution can't be won with bullets and knives and violence, man. Like, yeah, defensively we have to always be prepared for these acts to be committed against us and behave accordingly. But the concept of an offensive revolution is moot at this point, right? And because they got nuclear weapons, right? No matter how radical they get, they can just stomp us with some nukes, man, or biological weapons, whatever. Like, that's not the point. I'm talking about positive things, about positively empowering yourself. And I've begun to realize more and more it starts internally, right? You have to just stop avoiding yourself. I guess step one in positive revolutionary acts is to get to know yourself. Love thyself, to thy own self be true. And from there, you can begin to make positive actions outward. And for a period of my recent journey, outward's been over there, arm's length, another human being. And I've actually begun to circle the wagon a little bit more and become empowered with the garden. The garden has become really empowering in the sense of A, it's not easy, and B, the reward is food. You know, it's funny, I was talking with the hologram. She was like, we should plant a bunch of flowers and this and that. And I go, if you can't eat them, it's not worth the work. Yeah, they look nice, and I get it. Like, we planted a bunch of bulbs and stuff, you know, this winter, and the flowers are beautiful. And right, so flowers do add a component to the positive frequency, the revolution of positive energy. Yeah, colors beautiful, beautiful living flowers just radiating, and the bees dig them and the whole thing. But I've also noticed with the garden of, like, you know, who is peripherally existing off the garden. You know, a bunch of lizards now use our garden as a source of water. They're all in there drinking water from the leaves, and I dig the lizards, man. Lizards are rad. We got some cool lizards in our yard, and they're super, like, friendly now too. I mean, they won't, like, crawl up into your hand and go to sleep, but they definitely don't run anymore. You can, like, walk right up to them, and they just kind of look at you out of their one eye, and they're like, all right, dude, like, you don't need me to move, do you? And I'm like, nah, you can hang out. Be a lizard, man. Do your thing. So I've definitely begun to realize that the revolution is super at home. It's not out there. It's not at some building downtown. It's not at some building in Washington. It's not some building in Sacramento. The revolution is at home, right? Like, it was a big leap to buy, like, start purchasing all organic fruits and vegetables and products. But, like, you know, like, now that it's part of our existence, I don't really notice it at the register anymore, right? Like, for a moment, like, yeah, everything costs more, but I bet at the end, you know, it's probably $100 more a month, but that's $100 put into, like, positive consumer activities, right, that reflect into a healthier body back home. And once our spacesuit is healthier, we're radiating a more positive energy, and once we're radiating a more positive energy, boom. So again, I think it just comes down to, like, yeah, what we're putting into our body affects what we're broadcasting from our body, and that affects what we're doing with our body. Because now that I'm into, like, organic fruits and vegetables and stuff like that, I want to grow my own organic vegetables, right? So therefore and then the lizards are stoked, and the bees are stoked, and the little, like, our little backyard is now a little green spot, right? Yeah, we got our own problem with, like, these pincher bugs and bugs, and trying to be, like, organic, like, dealing with bugs. That's its own trippy thing. And then again, like, it's all internal. It's all a job from the center. So yeah, the big thing's gonna be this summer, like, educating the mini-gram. Like, educating the mini-gram on what I think's important, like geography. I think geographies, and I don't mean like countries, I mean like how rivers flow, and and where the mountains are, and why the mountains are where the mountains are, and what a mountain means on the east side versus the west side, and things like that. Like, I think geography is super important, man. I think you need to be able to walk out into the wilderness and be able to find water. And that has a bit to do with geology and geography. Was I saying geography, geology? Well, they're both dealing with the land. I did geology, man. Geology was a rad class. Anyway, man, to me, that's where the revolution lies. At our dinner table, in our backyard, man. We can keep trying to affect change in buildings that are outside of our, like, immediate zone. But I think the building we need to affect change